Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast where we talk about everything that is ADHD and mental health related. Today I want to talk about what is actually happening in your brain when you have ADHD because I am tired of hearing you just need to focus more or you're just lazy. That is not what it's about at all. I have ADHD, and for years I didn't understand why I couldn't do the things that seemed so easy for everyone else. But once I learned what is actually happening with my brain, everything started making sense. So let's break it down. No confusing medical terms, just real talk about what your brain is doing when you have ADHD. What ADHD actually is. First thing, ADHD isn't really about attention. I know, weird, right? It's called attention deficit, but that's not the full story. ADHD is actually about something called executive function. Think of executive function as your brain's management system. It's the part that helps you start tasks, stay focused on boring stuff, remember what you were supposed to do, control your own impulses, manage your emotions, and plan for the future. When you have ADHD, this management system doesn't work the way it does for other people. It's not broken, it just works differently. And here's the thing, it's not just in your head. It is in your head, but it's a real physical thing happening in your brain. Brain scans actually show differences in ADHD brains compared to non ADHD brains. The main area affected is called the prefrontal cortex. That's the front part of your brain right behind your forehead. This is basically the CEO of your brain. It's supposed to manage everything else. But in ADHD brains, this area is often smaller or less active. The dopamine problem. Now let's talk about the chemical part. Your brain runs on chemicals called neurotransmitters. They're like messengers that carry signals between brain cells. The big one for ADHD is dopamine. You probably have heard of it. Dopamine is involved in motivation, reward, pleasure, and movement. It's basically what makes you feel good when you accomplish something or when something interesting happens. Here is what's happening in ADHD brains. We have lower levels of dopamine, especially in certain areas. Think of it like this. If your brain was a car, dopamine is like the gas, and with ADHD, you are constantly running on low tank. This explains so much about ADHD behavior. Why we can't start boring tasks. It's because your brain isn't getting enough dopamine from the task to motivate you to do it. It's not that you don't want to, your brain literally isn't getting the chemical signal that says this is worth doing. Why we hyperfocus on things we love. When something is really interesting or rewarding, it releases more dopamine. So your brain finally gets what it needs and suddenly you can focus for hours. It's not that you can focus, it's that your brain is finally getting enough dopamine. Why we seek stimulation? Your brain is constantly looking for dopamine. That's why we interrupt, fidget, scroll social media, or jump between tasks. We're not trying to be annoying. Our brain is literally searching for that chemical it needs. There's also another chemical involved called norepinephrine, which works with dopamine, but the main idea is the same. ADHD brains have imbalances in these brain chemicals that affect how we think and act. Here's another really important part. The reward system in ADHD brains works differently. Most people's brains can think about future rewards and feel motivated by them. Like, if I study now, I will pass the test next week. Their brain releases dopamine thinking about the future reward, which motivates them to study. But ADHD don't do this as well. We need immediate reward. That future test feels too far away. Our brains basically have two time zones, now and not now. If something isn't happening right now, it doesn't feel real to our brain. That's why we're always late, why we procrastinate until the last minute, why we forget about our appointments. It's not that we don't care. Our brain literally don't process future times the same way. This is also why ADHD people are often described as living in the moment. It's not a choice. Our brains are wired to focus on what's happening right now. And this affects everything: making decisions, staying motivated, following through on long term goals. All of this is hard when your brain can't properly connect your actions now to rewards later. So now you understand why typical advice is useless for us. Like, just use a planner. Sure, but my brain doesn't process time the same way. A week from now feels exactly the same as a year from now. Just start the task. Starting requires executive function, which is exactly what's impaired in my brain. Or when people say you can focus on video games for hours. Yes, because video games provide constant dopamine hits and immediate rewards. That is not laziness, that's my brain finally getting what it needs. It's like telling someone who needs glasses to just see harder. That is not how it works. And here is what really frustrates me. People with ADHD usually know what we should do. We've been told a million times. The problem isn't knowledge, the problem is execution. Our brain struggles to turn that knowledge into action. One more thing people don't talk about enough: ADHD affects emotions too. Remember when I said executive function manages your thoughts, actions, and emotions? That last part is huge. People with ADHD often experience intense emotions that feel overwhelming, difficulty controlling reactions, emotional sensitivity, and quick mood changes. This is not being dramatic. The same part of your brain that helps you control your actions also helps you regulate your emotions. When that's not working well, emotions hit harder and faster. I have had moments where I feel frustrated or sad or excited, and it's like 0 to 100 instantly. And then people say, you're overreacting or calm down, but my brain's emotional control system isn't working the same as theirs. This is real, this is valid, and it's exhausting to feel your emotions so intensely while also knowing people think you're just being too much. That is actually what is happening in your brain when you have ADHD. It's not laziness, it's not a choice, it's not a character flaw. It's differences in brain structure, lower dopamine levels, impaired executive function, and a reward system that works differently. Understanding this changed my life because once I knew what was actually happening, I could stop blaming myself. I could stop thinking, what is wrong with me? And start thinking, how can I work with my brain instead of against it? You're not broken, your brain just works differently. And once you understand how, you can start finding strategies that actually work for you. That is exactly what I want this channel to be about: real explanation, real experiences, real solutions that actually make sense for ADHD brains. If this helped you understand ADHD better, let me know in the comments. And if you want me to dive deeper into any of this, like how time blindness works, or why we procrastinate, or how to actually manage ADHD, tell me what you want to see next. Thank you for watching. Remember, your brain is different, not deficient. See you next time.